G'day and welcome to the Inforunners. I'm Execute. Today I'm joined by Paul Shelley, or the Astropub. How you doing, man?
Hey, doing good.
Yeah, so we're doing Invictus Launch Week, Aegis Dynamics today. So we'll switch straight over to the browser, I think, and go from there. What was the first thing
I
that
gotta say,
stuck out to you today,
Aegis.
Paul?
Well, first off, Aegis is the ship company that haunts me because I did a lore thing that was part one of a lore thing on the lore behind Aegis, and I've never done part two because it's going to be 30 minutes long. So it's appropriate that you had me on for Aegis launch week because it's like, oh, okay, let's talk about the ships that I know most about. Anyways, the thing that struck me out right now is Retaliator. The Retaliator she is hot right now because she has the biggest, best missiles and the most of the biggest, best, and most of the torpedoes that are really that people really want, especially with capital ship combats coming up soon. And because you can't get it too often, you need to make sure that you guys are getting on top of this Retaliator bomber thing. The other thing, which I don't know if you want to talk about or if you want me to talk about, but I don't know if CIG understands what loadouts don't matter.
Yeah.
So if you want to get the Avenger Titan, don't get it for the loadouts. I'm sorry, the Avenger Titan Renegade. Don't get it for the loadouts because that doesn't matter. Get it because you want the skin. And CIG is conveniently selling a skin for the Avenger, which is basically the Avenger Titan Renegade skin for $5.
Yeah, it's something I would have talked about a bit later, but we can talk about it now. That's totally fine.
That's right.
That's all right. That's all right. Yeah. So you've got what he's talking about here is you've got this blue and gold paint job down here, and it's remarkably similar to the Renegade skin, as you can see up there.
It's the same skin. Let's be honest.
It's the same. It's very similar if you look. It's not quite the same, but like considering that this is what, $15 and this is $5, and if you actually like, I know I've got kind of Australian pricing here, but you got like $55 for the Titan and then $82 there. That's a big markup in difference in price. Like honestly, when it comes to the Avenger, you don't want to buy anything other than the Titan.
No,
there's just no need. And also you can get that in a pack. If I go up the top here, there is a pledge store. I'll show you. This is me very unprofessionally prepared today, but yeah, if you go into ship game packages, every day of the week you can get look, it's even got $5 off, and it comes with the skin. Look at that. Even more reason to buy, you know. And the other interesting thing is you got the combo pack, so you also get Squadron 42 and Star Citizen. So that's kind of the way. Like if you want everything, that's what I'd be buying at the moment. Because if you look at the difference in price, like here there's a $20 difference. It normally costs $50 just for Squadron 42 on its own. Here you're getting it for like $20. So yeah, that's kind of what I'd be going for. But I digress.
I'll say the other thing that I noticed is that they've got the Nautilus back on sale.
Yep.
And the Nautilus is an interesting ship because it's very specified, but it's like a very specific role. But it seems to have some appeal to people as a competitor to the Polaris and the Hammerhead. So if you're much more of a solo player or a player who's not going to be playing with a ton of people, that seems like it's a good ship. Whereas the Polaris and the Hammerhead, especially the Hammerhead, is very much a ship that requires a lot of people. So if you're looking for that Corvette range, they're selling the Nautilus, which is good for that.
Just some generalized advice too. If you are buying any of these ships and they're non-war bond, make sure you pick up something like the G12 first, so you get your LTI, and then upgrade from that to say something like the Nautilus.
And you can upgrade anything from the G12 to anything that you want to buy,
as long as it's not limited. But all the limited ships for today are sold out, and same thing with the Polaris. A lot of the limited ships don't have CCUs anyway, so.
All right, and I would say that's the unique thing about the Nautilus is it's the only Corvette ship that is not limited.
Yeah, at the moment, that's for sure. The Polaris only became limited recently, I think, due to its kind of popularity, and that was last anniversary sale.
Yeah, but the Hammerhead is limited. So
yeah. So, recommendations for today would be things like the Retaliator. You can get the bomber if you want it, but you've also got the base there, and you could just earn the modules in game. And one of the really interesting things is if you buy the base at almost half the price of the bomber, they actually give you the bomber as the loaner. So it's kind of funny. So you could just buy the base and earn the modules in game. That could be something you consider doing as well if you want to get a Retaliator on the cheap. And considering the price,
sorry, I said the Hammerhead was limited. Apparently, it's not. So
no, I don't think it is. Yeah. But yeah, for me, I don't know about you, Paul, but the only real recommendation for me is really the 3 ships I'd be recommending today are the Avenger Titan, the Retaliator Bomber or the Retaliator Base, either way, and the Nautilus. Actually, I probably might even recommend the Redeemer. I just remembered that.
Yeah, the other thing that you might consider, especially if you're looking in bombers, is the Eclipse. It's not as powerful as the Retaliator, but you don't get an option to get it outside of these special sales.
That is true, but I think it's very expensive for what it is.
Yes, it's essentially a stealth version of a Gladiator.
Yeah, like when it actually costs more than the Retaliator, and the Retaliator's got kind of more
firepower.
Well, it's also got the modules to fall back on. You see, so when you're not using it as a bomber, if you don't have another ship, you can use it as a cargo ship. You can't do that with the Eclipse. I think the Eclipse is really a niche of a niche. So a bomber is a niche, but this is it's a solo niche. Like, it's just even more niche. Yeah, I can't recommend the Eclipse, especially at its price point. I think it's way too expensive for what it is. Like, I can't understand how a solo bomber costs more than a group bomber. So I can't recommend that. But if you want to recommend it, you go nuts. That's your opinion.
I was just going to say that the only thing I can recommend it is that because it's a solo bomber, you have the advantage of playing solo, but you're going to have to pay the higher price. Its offensive capabilities aren't really that much different, and it also has less firepower in terms of payload, but
less risk too, though, because there's only one person. So yeah, I think if money wasn't a factor, like real world money, if it was just in-game money, then yeah, I'd say go for it. For me, it's definitely an earning game over the Retaliator bomber. So one of the things about the Retaliator that a lot of people don't realize is because of those cargo modules and the stealth paint and stuff like that, it's probably going to be one of the best smuggling ships in game. So the Retaliator is yet to show its full potential in my book. So yeah.
And I'll say the one other thing I'd recommend looking at is the Vulcan. If that's I feel like I'd be remiss. Sear's not here to say
he would shoot it down like me, man. It's not in a good place. It's kind of expensive. It's an advanced starter, so it's
the
like
Vulcan.
Yeah, it's actually classed as an advanced starter.
I wouldn't class it as an advanced starter though. I'd class it more like in the same veins as the Freelancer in terms of its size and its usability.
It is a larger advanced starter, but it's the starter for the profession of repair and resupply and stuff like that. But it's at its price point. You got to realize, $150 more, you can get a Crucible, and it just eats it for breakfast in every single way.
But you also talk about crew size. The crew size is much smaller for that.
It's only got 12 SCU. It can only do one of the 3 functions it does at a time. It's generally, it's just not something that we've recommended for a really long time. It's in a really bad spot in our book. But but if you want to get a starter ship, or you want to get any ship for that matter, you get the ship that you think is best. But that's just not one that the Terrapins. We're not sure on the Terrapin, but a lot of the advanced starters are really, really bad because they don't scale, unfortunately. And the example we've given for a long time is like you can, have 3 vultures and they don't equal 1 reclaimer, which is unfortunate. So if you're going for the bigger thing, that's what you go for. But we've yet to see a kind of middle repair ship that would go around the Vulcan. So that would be the one that's probably going to be the best of all worlds, so to speak.
I'd still disagree, only because crew size is going to be a thing, and based off of my experience with what CIG is talking about, like a Crucible is going to be a lot bigger than it was originally pitched, and as a result, it's going to be like an Idris or a Polaris. You're going to need people dedicated to do it. Whereas a Vulcan is 2 or 3 people together.
And that's as I kind of just said, the middle of the road is going to be the best place to go. Because you can probably get away, like if you actually think about how, we've talked about this before, but basically you can probably still, like the example I'd give is a mole against a prospector. You can technically still solo a mole if you have to, while not very convenient. It's still, you still can, and basically you get massive advantages of that because it's got, you know, the way it works, and it'll be the same thing in a medium repair ship. So can't recommend.
I'd honestly think that the Vulcan is that medium repair ship. They'd more likely do a smaller solo repair ship than they would do.
It's actually, if you go actually look at the stats, it's actually classed as a starter, so it actually is an
advanced starter.
Yep.
They've changed these kind of things in the past. I just don't see that happening.
I hope you're right, and I hope I'm wrong. We'll leave it there.
I'll leave it at I disagree. I disagree heartily.
That's fine. That's fine. You're more than welcome to disagree. We actually welcome that here, as you know. So that's Paul's recommendation. He's entitled to his opinion. So you're recommending the Vulcan. What was it? Tell people what you're recommending.
I'd say if you're interested in repair, rearm, that kind of thing, then the Vulcan is a good thing to look at because you don't get to see it very often. Definitely the Nautilus. I wouldn't recommend the Hammerhead because, again, crew size. Definitely the Retaliator. And if you're brand new starting out, buy that Titan base starting package or the combo pack. And if you already have a Titan, don't upgrade to a Renegade, just get the skin. It's $5 can save you a lot of money.
And even then, I don't even recommend the skins personally myself. I think they're a bloody rip-off considering they're going to be free in game.
They're going to be free in game, and you'll get something similar. I wouldn't worry about it.
So my recommendations are kind of similar. So I'd kind of go the Titan. I'd go either of the Retaliators, depending on your preference. The Nautilus, the Redeemer, and I'll leave it at that. I'm different to Paul, obviously, but Paul's entitled to his opinion regarding the Vulcan.
And I don't know why you'd get the Redeemer. I viscerally hate that ship. I viscerally hate that ship.
I think now they've dropped the drop ship part of it, and it's going to be a gunship. I think it's going to have a lot of. It's a mini Hammerhead essentially, and it's kind of what you were saying about crew size. It's much better to have 3 people in a ship that's a gunship than 9 people.
Than a 6. And it's designed for atmosphere. I can get that in terms of purpose.
I will give you the benefit of the doubt. It's still a wait and see. I will give you the benefit of the doubt in that. But yeah, $250 it's pretty good, and I've actually got it when it came out in a pack. So I've got my not a pack, sorry, the package. So I've actually got mine with a game package as well. So, yeah, and as we've said, if you're looking at the Renegade skin and going, oh, that looks kind of cool, very similar to this one for $5. I'm like, again, loadout. You can earn all the guns in game
so quickly. It's not even a joke.
You're essentially paying $10 for stuff you can earn in game really, really quickly. It's kind of weird. Unfortunately, though, once they set a price for something, they kind of seem to stick to their guns. To me, that this needs to be dropped in price significantly. I would almost say that this is now worth $7, not $15, type of thing. Just because.
Well, all of the Masters of Flight series are like that. The Wildfire, even the Saber Comet is like that. It's not worth the price. The skins aren't worth that price. So
all right. Anything else you want to add before we sign off?
No, I think that's it. Aegis is one of the popular ship brands. Everyone loves Aegis, so CIG seems to do a lot of them. So if you're an Aegis fan and you haven't gotten something, now's the time to jump in.
It's probably one of the biggest days of the sale because of Aegis are one of the very first large ship that went into game was the Retaliator, and they've definitely probably been the most worked out or worked through ship, and generally when they need a ship quickly, it's Aegis is the one that, like, you know, when they kind of made the Hammerhead, it was required. That was why it was picked, because Aegis was probably the most flushed out art style. But yeah, so that's been Aegis. Yeah, pretty standard recommendations across the board there. Yeah, and I'll leave it at that. And we'll see you for the next one. He's been Paul or Astropub. I've been Execute. We'll catch you in the next one.